What's going on, my fellow degenerates? We are back. Week 11 is here. It's already started. Great performance from the Patriots. Trevion Henderson, best running back in the class, maybe one of the best in the league. So let's get this started underway. So, yeah, fantasy football playoffs are right around the corner. We have 4 weeks left in most standard formats. Fantasy trade deadline is probably coming up in your league, whether it's this week, next week, or the following week. I don't really know what the standard is anymore. I have so many leagues with so many differences. So, yeah, without further ado, let's check our current playoff win percent chances based on your wins. So we go over this every week. Currently, if you have 1 or 2 wins, 3.5%, you're pretty much fucked. 3 or 4 wins, you're on the outside. Sub 500, you're at 20% chance. Still slight hope. I will say I believe I think I have 2 teams that have 4 wins that I'm still hoping that make the playoffs. And not just top pure hope. I like my schedule for the rest of the season and my team, some trades being made. So there is hope. That being said, you're below 4 wins. It ain't happening. It's too late. 5 or 6 wins, you're above 500. You have a pretty good shot, 66% chance. 7 or 8 wins, 95. And then 9 or 10 wins, 99%. I don't know about you guys. I don't have a single team in any of my leagues that's undefeated. It's been a lot of craziness this season, all in all. So, yeah. So we have the fantasy trade deadline coming up in every league. I don't think there's any leagues that don't have a trade deadline unless it's a dynasty league. So I'm going to talk about some targets here. These are going to be guys who I feel are potentially undervalued. Whether it's due to their production, their namesake, injury that's happened recently or in the past. But so as always, I will be using fantasycalc.com, using their trade database. I use this whenever I look at trades in my leagues, whether it's trades I want to make, just kind of see like what's going on out there. You can use the settings to change it to your team league settings, whether it's one quarterback, super flex, 12 team, half PPR, full PPR, all that stuff. It's very important to look at. It gives you a good idea of what deals are going down around the fantasy football sphere. So we're going to start with running backs. We got some undervalued targets. First off is Rico Dowdle. At this point, everybody knows Rico Dowdle, and Rico Dowdle's a no shit. This guy could be a league winner. He's an RB1 lately. He leads the NFC, I believe, in rushing yards still. That being said, I still think he's undervalued. Yeah, recently he's been traded for packages like Wandell Robinson and Rashad White, Hollywood Brown and Rashad White, T. Higgins straight up. Like all of those smash. Take those easy. Give me Rico. The Panthers offense, not great. That being said, they do know how to run the football. So yeah, Rico definitely still a good target. Next up is we have David Montgomery. He's going to be much cheaper than Rico Dowdle. But big thing here for me is Dan Campbell overtook the play calling last week in Detroit. This led to some of Montgomery's highest usage on the season, both in rushing attempts and snap share. They scored 44 points on offense. I think that's a good sign that they will keep following this trend. Dan Campbell, ground and pound guy. He loves to get up in there, beat the other team down. So great news for Montgomery. Recently, he's gone for DK Metcalf straight up, Xavier Worthy, Romeo Dobbs, Aaron Jones. I like all those trades if I need some help at the running back position. Next 2 guys I'm going to touch on here are both injured guys. Obviously, if you're acquiring injured players at this point in the season, you need to have the roster and capacity to do so. If I'm in 5th or 6th place trying to make my playoff push, I'm not looking to seek these guys out. If I have them already on my team, I might hold them. But these are much more targets for if you're like a team looking at a bye week. You have a very strong roster. You can make some moves and maybe take advantage of someone who needs to get a player they can plug into their lineup. So first off, we're going to go with Bucky Irving. Recent trades for Bucky Irving involve Jalen Warren straight up, Alvin Kamara and Parker Washington combined, or Colston Loveland straight up. No brainers there. And then recent trades for Omari and Hampton are Quentin Johnston straight up, RJ Harvey straight up, and then a package of Kyle Monangai and Romeo Dobbs. So, yes, some of these are god awful trades. I would not expect anyone in any of your leagues to take them. because you guys are probably all in pretty well versed, well educated leagues. That being said, it doesn't hurt to try. Very context based of what deals could be done in your league. Just look at the other managers, see what they have, what teams they're fans of, whatever information you can use to take advantage to get these players. If you're sitting in a commanding spot of a playoff spot, so let's hop over to the wide receiver position. First off, this guy's a wide receiver one. He's on bye this week. He had a shit game last week, sub 4 points, is Michael Pittman. He's got a couple tough weeks coming up. So maybe he's a good target. I think he's a good target. He's a very favorable fantasy football playoff schedule. The Colts are still a very good team. I'm not worried about Alec Pierce being a real threat. Every year, Alec Pierce is kind of the same. He's got maybe like 4 or 5 like explosion games. He's definitely a very good deep threat, but he's not a consistent guy. He's not going to be the number one target there. Obviously, the offense runs through Jonathan Taylor, but Michael Pittman is the wide receiver one. Not worried. So, what can you get Michael Pittman for right now? Recently, he got traded for Pierce and Cortland Sutton. He got traded for Aaron Jones. He got traded for DeAndre Swift. So, yeah, Pittman's still a wide receiver one. Like, I want him on my team. Those are laughable prices for a wide receiver one. So, give me Pittman. Another wide receiver I'm very high on is a guy whose price keeps rising, and I'm not gonna stop buying him. Is Ladd McConkey. I'm very high on Ladd as a player. I'm very high on the Chargers as an offense. Justin Herbert, that whole team. So deals lately involving Ladd McConkey are Kyron Williams straight up, Chase Brown straight up, or for a pair of AJ Brown and Jordan Addison. I like Ladd a lot here, especially in full PPR leagues. The usage from Blake Corum's kind of trending up a little bit. Not super worried about it, but yeah, give me Ladd. So we like Ladd. And then for injured wide receivers, these guys I don't like nearly as much as the running backs, BTJ and Marvin Harrison Jr. They're both dog shit teams with terrible quarterback situations, and they're both injured. So what that means, hopefully, is you can buy them for a little bit less. Their managers are probably very, very frustrated at this point. If you do own, I know I own them in multiple leagues, and I am beyond pissed of what the draft capital I spent on them. So maybe at this point, you just want to get out. And if you're an owner and if you are a playoff team commanding a upside player like these, it could be a good target. So Marv, his appendix burst this week. He's missing this week for sure. He could miss next week and the following week. It really comes down to his recovery from the surgery. I'm honestly not super high on Marv for the rest of the season. That being said, looking at his price, you can trade Xavier Worthy, DK Metcalf, Jerry Jeudy in an instant. Give me Marv over any of those guys with the upside. I guess Jacoby's an upgrade for the offense for the passing game. But yeah, I take a shot on Marv over them. BTJ, obviously, Trevor Lawrence, he still has. Trevor Lawrence still looks terrible. Jags are a total mess. They brought in Jacoby Myers, no Travis Hunter rest of the season. But deals he's being traded for currently are Woody Marks and DJ Moore in a package, Harold Fannin straight up, Aaron Jones straight up. So many of the players I looked up are being traded for Aaron Jones straight up. I don't know what it is. It's just crazy. I guess he's got command of the backfield over Jordan Mason, but I'm just not super high on him. And then lastly, BTJ for Ricky Pearsall and Rashad White. Yeah, give me BTJ over all those guys. He could still play this week. It's a mystery, but if not this week, he'll be back next week for sure. Feels like a good price. And then last thing here is, especially for these injured players, like these pieces that you're trading away, if you're relying on any of these guys to be in your starting lineup week in, week out, unless it's like a doomsday bye week scenario, you're screwed anyways. So yeah, give me any of those guys. So let's move on to our week 11 games and talk about them a little bit. All right, first off, we had our 9:30 a.m. game, Commanders versus Dolphins in Spain. I think it's fun to have these European games. I will say I am beyond ecstatic that they are done after this week. Yes, you heard that right. This is the last 9:30 start. This game in particular, not super tied to, very high over under. It's basically two backup quarterbacks. Mariota obviously playing. Tua sucks. He's a backup to me. Yeah, on the Commanders side, maybe you can flex Debo. That's pretty much the only person I'd want in that offense. Their running game's been atrocious. That being said, the Dolphins' run defense pretty bad as well. So maybe JCM, but he's been such a flop recently. On the Dolphins side of the thing, A-Chain and Waddle, they're the staples. Outside of them, not really anyone else to play. Moving up next, we have the Panthers and the Falcons. I totally didn't realize the Falcons were on a 4-game loss streak. All the news came out this week of Michael Penix having no support system, Raheem Morris hiding some injuries, broken collarbone being day-to-day. Like, okay, dude. I don't really know what's going down on Atlanta. That being said, I think we need to see a little something from Michael Penix this week. They have some elite weapons on offense. They have a great defense. Their line's playing pretty good. And Penix just looks very subpar. So he needs to show me a little something if he's going to be an NFL quarterback. Because at this point, I don't know if I really believe in him. I'm not like totally out on him, but I don't like his chances. And then on the Panthers side of the ball, Panthers are super inconsistent. It's crazy. They get shit on by the Bills 40-9 one week. Then they beat the Packers somehow. And then they get not shit on, but they lose by 10 points to the Saints last week. They only put up 7. So I don't know what's going over there in Carolina. The only thing they can do is run the ball with Rico and throw the ball to Tet. Bryce is doing terrible. Unfortunate for him. Falcons have a great pass defense, so I expect him to struggle. Next up, we have the Bucks and the Bills. This is the first of our quite a few elite games this week. I'm very excited for this week. A lot of great games. We got Baker and Josh up in Buffalo. It should be a shootout. Both teams having a little bit of struggle lately. Some losses. Much worse by the Bills to the Dolphins than the Bucks to the Patriots. But the Bucks still don't look all themselves. So this could be a big momentum shift for the second half of the NFL season for one of these teams. So I hope it's a fun one. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Texans and the Titans. Honestly, this might be the worst matchup of the year. Heading into the season, if you had me pick what was the most disgusting quarterback matchup of the year, I don't know if I could pick one that's quite as bad as Davis Mills versus Cam Ward, but here we are. I have zero intention of watching anything from this game other than what pops up on Red Zone. And even then, I might just click away from it or look away. Yeah. Not excited for this game. Very happy I don't have anyone playing in this game. So next up, we have the Bears and Vikings, big rivalry game here. Bears are on a great 1-6 of their last 7. Didn't realize that. Yeah, they're firing on offense. Their defense has been pretty subpar this year. We'll see what they look like this week. The Vikings desperately need to win. JJ McCarthy struggled really hard last week. If they want to keep their playoffs hope alive, let's see if they can get the divisional win. Personally, for my Jetta shares, I need JJ McCarthy to do a little bit better. So I want the Vikings in this one. Bengals and Steelers up next. Maybe we get the old man blast from the past once again, but I think this one's probably going to disappoint because that's how things go. We can't get 2 electric games. Bengals need the win to kind of keep things alive. For a Joe Burrow potential return. He could be back at the end of this month, early next month. That being said, they've let up 117 points over the last 3 games, so almost 40 points a game. I don't know what Joe Flacco could do with how the defense is playing here. So we'll see a Steelers win most likely. Chargers and Jags up next. I feel like these teams are like weirdly intertwined by fate. With Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert ever since that playoff game a few years ago with the upset. That being said, I think the Chargers are going to absolutely shit on the Jaguars this week. Yeah, I think T-Law is going to struggle, especially if Brian Thomas Jr. is in there. He'll only have Jacoby Myers, so Travis Hunter out for the season. Give me the Chargers. Next up, we have another great game. It's for the first place in the AFC or NFC West and potentially first place in the whole NFC is the Seahawks and the Rams. These teams are both on very good hot streaks, 4-game win streaks. They have two of the best young wide receivers in the NFL, and Puka Nakua and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Should be a very fun game. I kind of want the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win. I just have a hard time believing in Darnold, but they keep pulling it out week after week. So maybe I have to finally just give him his flowers and stop with that take. But we'll see. The other divisional matchup here is the Niners and the Cards. Brock Purdy is finally back this week. He's off the injury report, and Ricky Pearsall is also coming with him. So could be some exciting things for their offense. Mac Jones played pretty good, I think very good, in Brock Purdy's absence. Yeah, their defense still littered with injuries. Cardinals, at this point, they're treading water, trying not to drown. But they're basically they're underwater. They're drowning. Their offense is putrid. The only person I expect is Trey McBride to probably have 12 plus targets this week with no Marv. So if you have him, great play this week. Next up, we have the Ravens and the Browns. Lamar on fire. The Ravens doing great since he returned. Cleveland defense, I'm sure, will play well to start the game. Their offense, though, probably going to turn the ball over, probably going to go 3 and out a lot, and then Lamar is going to take advantage of it. They'll run away with this game eventually. Might not be in the first half, but in the second half for sure. Chiefs Broncos, another great matchup here. Believe it or not, the Broncos are 3 games up on the Chiefs in the division. And the Chiefs are in third in the division. So the Chiefs are coming off their bye week after a tough loss to the Bills. It kind of happens every regular season. I'm not too worried about it for the Chiefs. Bo Nix does continue to struggle in every football statistic. Deep ball accuracy, throws over 10 yards percentage, pretty much all accuracy. Bo Nix is like 32nd in the league, but what he is first in the AFC is winning. So that's all that really matters at the end of the day. That being said, I'm not buying it. I think the Chiefs take this one home and win. Next up, we have another banger playoff potential game is the Lions and the Eagles. Philly is favored in this game. It is a home game for them, so it's basically a scratch. Like I mentioned earlier, Dan Campbell overtaking the play calling. Let's see how that works versus a much better Philadelphia defense. A lot of chatter coming out of Philadelphia lately about A.J. Brown. Get rid of me in fantasy, all that stuff. Very fun to see, but them not throwing the ball. They're still getting wins, though. So as long as they get the wins, there's going to be a chatter. That kind of happens when you're a defending Super Bowl champion. A lot of talk about your team. I hope this one just lives up to the expectations and we get a great game. Monday night, absolute putrid game of the Cowboys and the Raiders. Both teams struggling, not doing very well. Dallas is favored to win. Both teams are on multi-game loss streaks. I don't know. We might get some good fantasy performances here because the defenses are both so bad. Maybe Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, CeeDee Lamb, Jameson Williams, Jake Ferguson. I probably feel great about any of those guys. But that being said, in terms of the NFL season, the Cowboys really need to win this game. That being said, even if they win this game, I looked at their schedule just right before this of like what an absolute gauntlet they have to run through. Even if the Cowboys win this game, next up they have the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Vikings, the Chargers, and the Commanders to close out the season. So yeah, I mean those are like 4 playoff teams for sure. Down the stretch, very good playoff teams. So yeah, the Cowboys are fucked. They're gonna get this out of this year with like 6-7 wins, maybe. So yeah, their season's over. But yeah, so that's all I got for week 11. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, send me a message, whatever you want. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video. And that's all I got. Until next time, peace out.